in this video, I will be talking about how to get a job in the game industry. That's right, how to get a job in the game industry. And ironically, this can go for anybody, whether you're a sound designer, a musician, a programmer, a 3D artist, a game designer, blah, blah, blah. This will be general advice that will benefit everybody, okay? So right off the bat, let me just give a shout out to everybody who follows me. Thank you so much. Mainly friends, family. Who am I kidding? There's no family. And definitely strangers. Thank you, friends and strangers. Your support has kept me going over the long years. I digress. Anyway, so just to give you a follow-up on my last video, things are going pretty well with the potential contract. We're going to hear from them maybe in 3 or 4 weeks, or about 3 weeks at the time of this video, and hopefully that could be my first commercial job. Things have been going so well with the process, I have been asked to apply for a position with the game company. I don't want to say the company's name. I don't want to give all that stuff out, but needless to say, I have been offered a chance to get a job. I still have to go through the application process. So that's what this video is going to be about. How did I get there? And how could anyone who's interested in getting a job in the game industry actually get one? Well, here we go. Step 1, make a portfolio. Or I should say, do game jams. I've said this a bazillion times. I'll keep saying it a bazillion times more. Do game jams, step number 1. If you do the old search, how to get a job in the game industry, interestingly enough, we bump into Tim, who I publicly associate myself with. Publicly, hurrah, hurrah. Really awesome guy. He's got his own video on 3 tips to get in the game industry, and he's got some really good points. I'll put a link somewhere so you can check that out. However, kind of jumping on one of his points is this idea of getting a portfolio. He doesn't necessarily talk about how to or where to get a portfolio, I guess, unless I missed it. But I would definitely say game jams, and this is the game jam that helped me. The reason why is because, as I've said before, you do a game jam, a company could open up their doors and let you be in their literal game studio. And if they like the type of games you make, then you could potentially get a job offer. This is how other people I've known who've gotten jobs have gotten it. In fact, internationally and interestingly, if you take vacations in different countries, you can go to different country studios and work in this game jam, and at the end of it, they could potentially offer you a job, and you could end up moving to another country, which is pretty cool. So here's number 1, tip number 1, do game jams, as that's also game jams / build a portfolio, okay? All right, going on to tip number 2 is make a resume. And so this is where I'm right now creatively in. I don't have a resume. And the thing that's great is that I kind of did this like a high school student should if they want to get a job in the game industry. Start as young as you can, maybe 10. That's what I'm going to try to get my daughter. However, if you have a situation where you just do game jams and you're learning game development kind of like as a hobby, but you don't have an official education, this one is the best one that I saw, because as you can see here, it lists the skills that you can learn. There's no certifications here. You can learn all the skills you need: programming, sound engineering, making music, coding, whatever, without a fancy degree, and you can list those skills here. Okay. Then what you have here is you get game projects, and the finished game jam games I just found out count. Luckily, the studio that is offering me a chance to apply for a job, it just told me, hey, your game jam games from the Global Game Jam are fine. Just list them below. Awesome sauce. I'm also going to be listing Zero Friday and the Rakuko project. Okay. Oh, still working on Rakuko. Still working on Godot content. It's just me and Jebediah are really busy, so it's taking us longer to develop a curriculum. Anywho, I digress. So there you go. Just you have your game projects as a highlight. You get your skills you learned from the game jam. And then professional experience. I am lucky. I have had a couple of professional experiences. They're relatively very small. But you can find opportunities to work for companies, kind of like an intern, or I hate to say this, do a little bit of free work to get some experience. It's pretty much a non-paid intern. All right. There you go. And yeah, I do have like a bachelor's, but again, I will list it. I have a bachelor's and master's. It's kind of related, but it's not game development specific. So hopefully the rest of this will prove that out. And if you need help and a cheap program to do a resume, I just went here. I'm changing this to game resume. It's Google Docs. It's free. Well, you have to sell your soul to Google and or all your data. But aside from that, your data and your soul, you can actually just have this great template on this program. It's free. You don't need Microsoft, and it can open on any computer. Huzzah, huzzah, huzzah. Open Office is another opportunity. All right, okay, moving on to 3. I do want to kind of talk about the job I am applying for. If you see here, there is the design team. Everybody kind of wants to be a game designer, and I get it. The luxury of a game designer is, ironically, you don't have to be good at programming. You don't have to be good at sound engineering, animation, so forth and so on. You're specialized as a game designer as far as the gameplay loop, like what does the player do in the game over and over again, and what systems or features can support that core gameplay mechanic. Now, saying this and saying you don't have to be good at a lot of things, that means you still have to know and understand how those things work. Like, how does 3D models work? Modeling, animation, how do those work in a game? How do I get it from the program that the modeler makes into the game that I play? Same thing with sound. How will sound work? Sound engineering, level design, all these things the game designer at least has to know enough of in order to be able to make a really great game like Hiro Kojima. Okay, so that is the thing. So the job that I'm applying for specifically, I guess is like another tip. Maybe we'll do 4 tips. Is know your strengths and weaknesses. I'm applying for project manager because I am good at nagging people like a mom should, maybe. I'm good at getting people to get things done to spec. I believe. Because out of all the projects I've worked on, that's been my strongest skill. Second to that, drawing and 2D art, which is good when you're making diagrams and trying to talk to people. And, Blender 3D art is kind of relatively low. And my programming skills, like Blender 3D is here. Godot, GDScript is here, but most people don't want GDScript, they want C#. I've said this before, if you're a programmer, learn C#, you'll get work. It seems to be true, as I've been offered jobs for that. I've also been offered jobs for doing 3D artwork, and I can't take those because it's a great opportunity. 1, I don't have a portfolio. 2, well, I'm just not good at that stuff. I digress. So that is what I'm going to be applying for with this company, is a project management position. That's really cool. I would be excited about that. I'm very passionate about the game industry. Tim also mentions this a little bit in his video. Like, you have to be able to work and deal with people. And yeah, he talks about a little bit about this. Is this how does your personality mesh? What type of personality you should have? And remember, it's not just about setting goals and having milestones. You have to get people to commit to finishing those goals and milestones. So there's emotions and, that you have to deal with, and people's personalities, so forth and so on. I feel that I am tasked relatively well for this job. So we'll see how this goes. If I do get it, interestingly enough, I don't know how many people on the teams I'll manage will actually speak English, and more than likely, they will be international people. So here we go. Tip number 4, I guess. Is it 3 or is it 4? I don't know. Kind of did the stream of consciousness. Build your networks. Build your network. This job opportunity happened because I have been active since 2014. I have been active in pursuing game development as a actual job, and it has led to a couple of professional opportunities for me, and now it could mean I actually get a job working in the game industry for a medium-sized game development company. That excites me. That really excites me. I would love to do this for a little bit, or maybe this becomes my second career as I'm getting closer to middle age, and I don't know. It just sounds like an exciting situation for me. So that is because, again, I guess we'll call it number 4, develop your networks. So given that my olive branch is still out there, if you need any help, if you want to work on a game jam, I don't know, just anything, put a comment below. Find me on the internet. Ask me stuff. If you're looking for work or how to break in, please ask me. I don't know everything. I know just enough. And hopefully, if I get this job, I'm going to know and learn so much more. And that's why I'm excited about potentially getting this job. And I'd love to help people, so that could always be a plus. I wish you well on your projects, and insert catchy phrase here. See you all in the next one. I'll try to get another video next week. There's tons of topics I want to do. Bye.